you going to help me with this while you're driving? You can't.
We will. I have to, and we'll figure it out. We just have to move slow enough and communicate well enough. It'll help us with our communication skills, you see.
Okay. So.
And it'll make us both better at chess.
9 C6. That's what you just did. But that doesn't matter because you can't even see the board.
But I can ask the questions that are important.
Okay.
The questions I ask myself when I play.
Okay.
Do I have a check? Forget about that. Does my enemy have a check?
No.
Okay. Next question. Is my enemy overwhelming any of my squares? Or does it look like they're about to? Or trying to?
Yeah. Looks like they're trying to overwhelm the square.
Which one? What's the name of the square?
D4.
Oh, you don't say. D4. Shocker. It's only,
But they don't really have a lot of ability to do that.
But nonetheless, they're trying to.
They are trying to, yes.
So why not kill the people that are trying to?
One of them's the queen.
Oh, so
But I can pin her. Ha!
you can?
Yes, she's underneath her queen, his king.
Oh, that's exciting.
So,
You mean in front of? You're such a math brain, I swear to God.
That son of a bitch. He didn't. Well, he couldn't have taken it anyway.
You didn't even wait and answer all the questions. But you have another chance to do it right now.
Okay.
Okay, but we start over.
Yes.
Question 1. Does the enemy have a check against me?
No.
Okay, question 2. Is the enemy overwhelming any of my pieces, any of my squares? Or are they threatening to? Are they trying to?
They could. They very well could.
Which square?
D5.
Your pawn on D5.
Mm-hmm.
How would they overwhelm it?
They moved their pawn up. 1. Their
Then they would
C
have
pawn.
three. Then they would have 3 people against your 2 people.
Yes.
Okay, but you would be able to just take the pawn with your pawn, correct?
Yes. That's exactly what I want to do, and that would have a pin.
Okay, so really he doesn't want to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So really he's not really overwhelming that, right?
No.
Are there any other pieces he could use to overwhelm it?
Yet. Not that I can see.
Okay, then basically he's not going to overwhelm it. Or if he tries to with the pawn, it'll go badly for him, most likely. Right? Is that, would you say so?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Deliciously
All
badly
right.
for him.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're like halfway through the questions. So, are there any other squares? You always check to see if you missed any.
I was checking.
Are there any other squares that they're threatening to overwhelm or currently overwhelming.
There are squares that they overwhelm, but not with any of my pieces on them.
Okay. That's a good observation and a good distinction to make. All right. So now we'll proceed to question 3. Do I have any checks?
No, not. The king is pretty surrounded right now.
Okay, so basically the answer is just no.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Question 4. Are there any enemy occupied or enemy controlled squares that I currently overwhelm or am threatening to overwhelm, or that I think I could easily overwhelm?
Is there any occupied enemy squares that I could overwhelm? Or do overwhelm?
Yes, or enemy controlled squares. It doesn't really have to be occupied, because if it's an important square, it's a little bit irrelevant whether it's occupied or not. Important squares are important squares.
That's a big question.
Okay, then just limit it to the occupied squares.
That's still a big question. First, you have to figure out, all the squares that are important.
No. You just
No.
If we're limiting it to just occupied squares, occupied enemy squares, then we're just saying, are there any occupied enemy squares that we can overwhelm or we are overwhelming?
Could overwhelm and are overwhelming.
Could quickly overwhelm.
That's still a lot. Could and are. Could is a lot on its own.
Okay, just check for are before you check for could.
Okay.
37, 26.
I'm not overwhelming any enemy occupied squares.
So
Major Tahenda.
So the next question is, of all the occupied enemy squares. So question 5 is, now that you've answered the first 4 questions, question 5 is, of all the occupied enemy squares, despite the fact that I'm not overwhelming any, which of the occupied enemy squares would be the easiest for me to overwhelm? What would need to be the case for me to overwhelm it?
How do I decide what's the easiest?
You look for chinks in the armor.
Guarded by the least stuff?
Yeah, stuff that looks like it's asymmetrical.
It's that one.
I know. Stuff that looks out of place or weakly supported. Places where there's a hole in the wall or the hole in the line, or people that are just standing in a bad formation, or too close or too far apart from one another. And then you pick one square and then you divide devise a plan to attack that square. And then if your opponent moves the way you predicted they would, then you keep on that plan. And if they don't move the way you predict that they would, then you make a new plan. Or you adjust your current plan.
There's a square I could overwhelm.
Which one?
This one.
Ooh. How would you do it?
So move the knight here
Yeah.
to G1.
Yeah.
Then the queen is already attacking it.
Yeah.
And then I could move the G pawn up one, and then I could move the light bishop where the to F3.
Okay. Light bishop to F3. Here's the problem. As soon as you move your G pawn up, they're gonna take your G pawn with their H pawn, and you'll be in check when they do that.
No bones.
So.
Ixnay on that plan.
So, in general, it's a good idea to attack.
In the center.
No, if you want once you, like, yeah, but you're already attacking in the center. So now that you're defending on this side and already attacking in the center, the thing you're lacking is an attack on the queen side.
Okay, well. That's difficult.
Well, not that difficult. Start with some pawns and the rest will follow.
So what? Push up with this pawn?
That's the kind of thing I would do in a situation like this. But I have to study the board for a second.
Go drop off the food. Way too long to do their order.
Yeah. So much Yamite, all the Yamite.
You're the Yamite, all the Yamite.
I'm not the Yamite, never any of the Yamite.
Yes, Lord. Always.
fine. Fine isn't fine.
Yeah, well, I don't like being asked, did you want that now, when we had a full conversation about how we were supposed to go get it. And when I literally made a full
We didn't
request
say
earlier.
when we were going to
No,
get it.
I literally said I'm basically gonna want it right when you're done eating earlier.
Yeah, but the problem was then we got hit with a $15 order.
Yeah, so I expected you to just get that one done and then go to Burger King. I don't understand why you thought I would change my mind about getting Burger King, about wanting it as soon as possible between now and then.
Alright. I'm clocking off now. Okay, so we won't get hit again.
Do you want that now?
I'm sorry, I asked you a dumbass question. I clocked off. Won't get hit again.
It doesn't crash.
That's not crashing.
Totally crash.
She loves me, folks. She loves me.
It's the big houses on one side and all the houses. Oh, but all these are right here, but back there it
We went
was like
from some big houses to some little houses.
no, it was big houses on one side and little houses on the other.
That's terrible. Imagine living in one of those little houses right across the street from the big houses.
No.
Like, I don't want to be a house inmate.
This is better than like being like the only little house in the neighborhood at least. So,
True. That's the worst. At least you can have your little poor culture with your little poor side of the block. Like, get together and complain about how people that live across the street have so much better lives. Get drunk on cheap beer. Charleston Park Apartments.
Apartments.
Yeah,
That's what that said. They had some.
It's like a living complex place.
No, it's they had a bunch of houses back there.
Yeah, that's. It's like a condo type thing,
Condo?
I don't know. It's
Did
like,
it say apartments?
It didn't say apartments.
What did it say?
It didn't say shit. It just said.
Charleston Park.
It might have said something else. I couldn't read the fine print. I wasn't looking hard enough. I don't think it said anything else though.
I saw. I mean, that was the second. That was the second side. That was the second entrance to the little thing. I saw the first one. And it said Charleston Park.
With nothing else.
Not for what I saw.
I'm upset that I didn't go to Burger King because I really should be.
This neighborhood. That's what that sign said.
Oh, I want to live at the Enclave. Where's my brand new house in the Enclave? I want a brand new house in the Enclave. Jeez. FDA Cafe. It's like First Watch you see. customer's 5 minutes away, and then we can go to Burger King.
Cool.
Love Desi, love Teehee.
I have to write down the questions.
Write down your questions?
No.
Oh, I have to write down the questions?
No, I have to write down the questions
Yeah. Well,
before I remove.
I'm ready to dictate them to you.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready to write them down.
I think it's dead or something.
See what?
I said I think it's dead or something.
How much is left? Heard it.
Light's not coming on. Did you hear me? That's fine. I figured it out. I was a genius. Doesn't you worry.
Cheap figured it out. Cheap. Hey, look, we have a viewer. Do you feel lonely all alone, my precious little viewer?
Ridiculous. Okay. 1.
Does the enemy have a check against me? Or can they easily get one?
Okay. Oh my god. Okay. Next.
Next is, does the enemy overwhelm any of my squares? Or can they easily overwhelm any of my squares?
Any of my squares?
Any of my pieces? So use pieces instead of squares both times.
What's number 3?
What?
What's number 3?
Number 3, the 3 and 4 are repetition of the first two, but mirror image.
Okay. Is that all?
Number 5 is the last one, so for now, unless I think of any others. Locate the enemy piece that is the easiest to overwhelm and devise a strategy to do so. Easiest and safest to overwhelm. Follow those steps, every move you should win.
Right. Fuck me, Tay, Christopher. Fuck me, Tay.
Fuck me, Tay, Deidre. Fuck me, Tay.
He doesn't want me.
Wrong. You're such a little cheap. Such a camera.
Flippity flip flip.
Flippity flop flip flarpy darp. Kingu of the Baga. Kingu of Baga. Baga Kingu. Boggy Kingu. Kill him flashily, Deidre. You doesn't understand anything ever since the beginning of time. There you go. That's nice. Except the board's too small. Ooh, that's nice. That's nice. You should flip it so that the pad is on the bottom. And then pull down the chest. So you have a tiny little pad at the bottom of the screen, and most of the screen is chess. You should make it a little bit smaller.
What?
The pad. Except for when you're writing and you can pull it up then.
Okay.
You're moving way too fast to be following all the rules.
Well, isn't it? Aren't those two the same anyway?
I mean, not necessarily.
Okay. Well, the first one is.
Yeah, the first one is if you're right. D4 is also a good move. It's just not really as good to the computer. This is what I like to see. Deidre, deep in contemplative thought after move 1. Making sure she's following all the rules.
I'm just gonna try some reckless shit.
LOL. Just gonna try some reckless shit. LOL.
Just real quick.
It's never bad to experiment. LOL. If you feel like that was a failed experiment, you can always start over.
Poop. He knew what I was doing.
Nah, he's not. He wasn't born yesterday. he's 1400 rated. You got. you were basically, almost as good as him when you before you started even studying.
Okay. No. The answer to that question is no.
Let's maybe not do the reckless shit.
Can I put the enemy in check soon? No. Not at this point. Right?
Right. Although you do have that open diagonal with the queen. So if that pawn were to move, or if something were to happen to that pawn.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to use the... He just... So...
Yeah, I see. It's a good idea, but it's just not the right... Too fast. Is this... Are we... Can you plug this in?
Not even the computer does that.
Yeah, because it's too fast. It's a waste of time. You're not going to accomplish your goal that way. Of course you may cheat.
This porn. Oh. You're lucky the camera was flipped.
Like I didn't check. Yeah, put the camera on us. Then you can't molest me.
Exactly.
It's funny because that wasn't even on camera just now.
She does. What are we doing here?
Waiting until I'm ready to drive 5 minutes to Burger King. Ask the questions out loud and answer them out loud.
Do I overwhelm any of the enemy's pieces? No. Could I do so soon? Possibly. He doesn't really have any pieces out. So, should I try to overwhelm the piece he does have out?
You should keep in mind, you should see how, you should just think about what you would need to do to overwhelm it, and if that seems like it would be convenient to do, you could move in that direction, but if it seems like it would be too inefficient, then you could just ignore it.
Okay, so I could go to D4 with. I could go D4 and then dark bishop to D2 and then pawn or B4.
There isn't really an easy way to overwhelm that pawn.
So I should just ignore it.
Yeah.
So that's doing too much, is what I just said.
Yeah, it wouldn't get the job done.
Okay.
It would pretty much just waste time and put you in an awkward position.
So no, I can't overwhelm any of the pieces, any of the enemy's pieces soon. Not any of the ones that are out.
Right. It's too early.
So I'll locate the enemy piece that is easiest and safest to overwhelm. That one.
Followed by that one. Either of them would suffice.
Well, I want to do that one.
Either way, I think you probably want to throw your pawn. Or you either want to throw your pawn or your knight.
Which knight?
Your king's knight, because you're trying to castle. The faster you castle, the better. I think the knight probably stronger than the pawn, but I'm not sure. They're about.
It's not what the computer does.
It depends. Sometimes the computer thinks the pawn is stronger, and sometimes it thinks the knight is stronger.
And this guy so far has been doing the pawn.
Yeah, it likes the pawn, but you haven't tried the knight. It might have also said that was the best move because it'd be confused like that, you know.
Oh, it just says book move.
Or,
So-
okay. All right. Okay. Then in that case, the pawn is probably better. But in the case of the book move versus the best move is better than the book move. But it's
I haven't.
It's
I haven't
situational.
experimented with that. I will though.
Yeah.
Yes, that could totally change what the response is. I mean, totally look at that. Okay,
Follow the process.
it's tiring. Okay. These are both known. It's also known. It's also known. I mean, yeah, it's also known. I think.
In the beginning of the game, since there aren't many enemy pieces deployed, when you get to question 5, you could substitute just just center squares for enemy pieces as far as overwhelming goes.
Just to never mind.
There's no shame in being too tired to play. Supposed to